Parent Entrepreneur Power, conversation number 160.
Parent Entrepreneur Power.
Wait, what? Entrepreneur Power!
This is the podcast for parents juggling the tough choices required for success in business while putting family first. Hi, I'm Mary Catherine Johnson, and I share the ups and downs and dirty truths of profits and potty training while chatting with successful parent entrepreneurs from all walks of life. Are you powered up? Hello there, Power Parents, and welcome to The Conversation. As the title of this episode states, these are 7 specific tools that many of the entrepreneurs that I have had the pleasure to interview on this very show use every day to create their success, and you're probably not using them as effectively as they are. So I'm going to explain to you exactly what that means and how you can start using these tools, specific tools, much more effectively to create even more success in your business and have more time and freedom with your family. So if that sounds like it's interesting to you and that you need that, then hang on tight, because that's exactly what we're going to get into. I'm going to go step by step, each one. Before I do that, however, I have not talked about anything on this podcast for a long time about opt-ins or freebies or any lead magnets or anything like that. I have not been doing any right hooks, as Gary Vaynerchuk says. I've only been jabbing, jab, right hook. If you read that book, if you haven't, I highly recommend you do. So I've just been giving, and I've been interviewing people and spreading incredible knowledge and wisdom from these incredibly successful people. And right now I'm going to throw in a right hook, because this specific podcast episode, I have a complete cheat sheet of these exact 7 tools with the links to examples. I'm going to share with you the actual entrepreneurs and their websites and how they actually do it. And I have that on a cheat sheet for you. And if that's something you want so that you can start checking these things off in your business, then here you go. This is a free opt-in. And if you text PEP160 to 44222, you will get that exact cheat sheet. It's a PDF, as I said, with links and examples to everything I'm talking about. Okay, that's out of the way. Now, let's get to this episode, because I really know, I know this is what you're here for, because this is actionable stuff, guys. This is actionable information that only power parents will use. And those of you who hear this and need some of these, I so hope you actually implement them, because when you do, you will see incredible changes in your business. All right, let me get down to it. The reason I have this, let me just tell you a quick story about why this even came about. I'm writing a book, the Parent Entrepreneur Power book. And through the research about this book and looking through past episodes, because I'm referencing, now I'm like you see, 160 episodes, I'm referencing some of the most incredibly successful people that I've had the absolute pleasure to interview. And I'm taking their snippets and using it as evidence of what I'm talking about in the book. And so I have lots of different specific examples with links to the exact podcast episodes. And again, the examples of how these people use these tools in their businesses and what successes they've had. So that I'm doing that book. When you opt in, you will also be able to be on the wait list for more information about that book, because that's where this comes from. But that's where this episode came from. I'm doing this book and I'm going through this information, and I just encapsulated it into these 7 tools. So I'm going to start from beginning to end. So the first things I talk about are the things you have to do first in order to see the successes that come later. And so this is actually chronologically. You could probably skip some of these things and go to other parts and just start banging those out if you wanted to. But really, this is all about the tools you need to use to create success that you're probably not using effectively. So if you're not using some of these effectively, I suggest you stop and start implementing the things I talk about and that my guests have talked about in order for you to start using these things effectively. All right? So that's my caveat. Please, if there's something you're not doing here, don't just skip it because you're skipping the success you could have. Seriously, you are skipping it because every one of these people has all of these things and they use them to the fullest. All right? So it's your choice. If you feel like you don't want to do some of them, that's cool. But you're going to not see as much success as you could. All right. So I'll get off my soapbox. Okay. Number one. Now, number one, you've heard me talk about many times on this show. So I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail, but I am going to tell you what it is. And it is basically, just in a word, time management. Okay. But what do I mean by that? And the person who epitomizes this is Hal Elrod. He's a parent. If you haven't heard of him, if you don't know the Miracle Morning, check that out. And again, if you download that cheat sheet, there will be a link exactly to what I'm talking about. Hal Elrod, and another person that does this amazingly well is John Lee Dumas of Entrepreneur on Fire. Now, he specifically has a journal that he just came out with. This is being recorded in February of 2017. And no, I'm not an affiliate for it, so I'm not trying to sell you anything. Same with Hal Elrod. None of the things I'm talking about am I trying to sell you. I'm not going to give you an affiliate link or anything like that. In the cheat sheet, I'm not going to give you an affiliate link either. None of it. I'm not selling anything. This is just information for you to use, to actually use. Please do. Don't just read it and file it away on your desktop somewhere or print it off and put it in a file folder, right? Do it. So time management. Hal Elrod and JLD, let me tell you, they have a power schedule. They have a power morning routine. John Lee Dumas and that journal that I mentioned is called the Mastery Journal, and it is incredible. If you have not been able to master focus and Pomodoro technique or getting yourself to do as much in as little time as possible, then you have to get this journal. It is called the Mastery Journal. Again, I'll have all these links on the show notes page as well. So if you don't want to download the cheat sheet, no problem. Go to the show notes page. You know where it is, parententrepreneurssuccess.com/PEP160. And all the links will be there as well. So time management, Hal Elrod, Miracle Morning. He specifically talks about a morning routine, getting your head in the place it needs to be as productive as possible. John Lee Dumas, I already mentioned, the Mastery Journal gets your head in the place where it can be as productive as possible. I have already talked to you. If you've been a fan of this show at all, you know about my power morning routine. P is for peace. O is for openness, and that's visualization. W is for who, what, and why. Who needs you today? What top 3 things are you going to do to move your business forward monetarily, revenue-wise? And why the heck are you doing this? Why are you getting up every day, sitting at your computer, or going out to knock on doors, or whatever it is you're doing? Why are you doing it? What is motivating you to do it? And E is for exercise and R is for reading. I do that every day. And folks, let me tell you, Power Parents, there are times when I get out of this routine, and believe me, I know it. My business suffers. My health suffers. My exercise suffers. My eating habits suffer. My family suffers because I am not the best I can be. So I'm telling you, if you don't have a morning routine of any kind, if you just jump up from the alarm clock, jump in the shower, and get to work, I would highly recommend you seriously develop a morning routine. I've already given you 3 tools, 3 options: Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning, JLD's Mastery Journal, and my Power Morning Routine. And I will have all the links, as I already mentioned, to each of those things. Now, after power schedule, after your morning routine, then the Pomodoro technique is incredible to keep you on track. There is a timer. You set the timer for whatever time frame you desire. It could be 20 minutes. It could be 45 minutes. But once that timer goes off, you take a break. You get up off your computer. You get up out of whatever you're doing, out of the coffee shop, stand up from your laptop, go get a cup of coffee, go to the bathroom, whatever it is, but you take a break. But the only way you get to take that break is if that 20 to 45 minutes has been total focus. No notifications on your phone are going off. No notifications on your computer are going off. None of those things are happening. Everything is clear and you're just focusing and doing what you need to do. And that, my friends, you will see a difference. I see it now. If I'm doing something with my kids and I'm trying to work at the same time, there is no way I can be as focused as if I can sit down in the Pomodoro technique and actually use that time with no distractions. Okay? Then the other part of this whole time management, remember, we're still on number 1, people. So the other part of this time management is Parkinson's law. And you know, if you've listened to this or if you follow JLD, Parkinson's law states tasks will expand to whatever time you allot for them. So if you give yourself an entire day to write a blog post, guess what? It'll probably take you an entire day to write a blog post, maybe even longer. If you give yourself an hour and you bang out as much of that blog post as you can, and then you take a break and you give yourself 1 more hour and you bang out as much as you can, you will get that blog post done within that time frame. So that's the difference. That's what Parkinson's law is. Tasks will expand to whatever time you give them to complete. All right? So time management, power schedule, morning routine, Pomodoro technique, and Parkinson's law. Okay? I'm skirting over these and you can go and opt in. I've got a specific email sequence where I train you and teach you exactly how to do these things. I know Hal does. I know you can go listen to JLD. There are many sources and I will give them all to you on the show notes page. So that's number 1. If you don't figure out where you're losing time, you cannot be as effective and you cannot make as much money or spend as much time with your family as possible. Okay, so you have to start there. Analyze what you do now and see where you can change it. Okay, number 1, time management, done. Number 2, you've also heard me talk about this on the show. If you've followed it, I have a whole podcast episode dedicated to this, and I have gotten amazing feedback from people that this one episode changed their entire business. So listen up. Your entrepreneurial identity, okay? I've labeled it entrepreneurial identity. It is your identity of your business. It is what your business does. And there is someone who does this very, very well. She has also been a guest on this show. Her name is Carrie Wilkerson with the Barefoot Executive. And again, I'll have links to all of the podcast episodes with these people as well on the show notes. This is what entrepreneurial identity means, okay? It basically, you complete this statement. I help blank with blank so they can blank. So those blanks are answers to these questions. Who do you help? What do you offer them? And how is their life transformed after they complete whatever it is you offer them? So who do you serve? How do you serve them? And what transformation do they have after coming in contact with you? You must know that. That is your basic marketing. Don't do any branding. Don't tweak your website. Don't do a website revamp. Don't create an email opt-in sequence. Don't do anything until you complete that statement, because you don't know who you're talking to if you don't know that statement. Okay? And Barefoot Executive, if you go to her site, she knows it. You immediately know exactly who she is, who she helps, and how she helps them. Because she specifically states, helping you maximize your profit and your productivity while keeping your priorities intact. That is her statement on her site, and that's exactly what she does. Okay? So that is entrepreneurial identity. If you go to parententrepreneurssuccess.com, you will see on the homepage my entrepreneurial identity, and it is exactly this, helping you uncover yours. That's what I'm here to do. That lights me up, people. It is so exciting when people get this in their business. You see it, clarify everything. And then once they do that, they look at their business with new eyes and they see golden nuggets laying on the ground everywhere to pick up and actually use in their business to help other people and maximize their profits. I'm telling you, it's incredible. All right. So number 2 was entrepreneurial identity. Okay. Once you get that focused, then you can go on to number 3, and that is website clarity. Okay. So we all have websites, right? You've seen great websites. You've seen not so great websites. All right. We all have. One person who has an amazing website is Dana Malstaff. Okay, she's Boss Moms, boss-mom.com. Incredible website. And again, she knows her audience. She knows her entrepreneurial identity. Specifically, she says, welcome to Boss Mom Movement, okay? A place to help you raise and nurture your family and business. So she and I are very similar, but she's specifically focusing on moms. I'm talking about parents. So what she's doing within 3 seconds, okay? Visitors clearly must see within 3 seconds whether or not they're in the right place when they land on your site. Period. Without moving the mouse, without doing anything. Once they click to your site, the top third, the top fold, they call it, of your site must tell them immediately whether they're in the right place. So if you just have a picture, an image up there, and it's just a wonderful image of the sunset or something like that, and there's nothing else on the top fold to tell them anything about why they're there, well, they might just leave. Instead of making them work to find out why they're there and whether you're the right place for them to be, you need to say it very, very clearly. And the only way you can do that is by making sure you've done number 2, your entrepreneurial identity. Once you've done that, then your website can be very, very clear of exactly what you do. All right? Clarity in your website, period. No fancy, try not to put puns in there. Try not to be clever. You know the whole statement. Instead of being clever, be clear, especially when it's in relation to your website. Unless you're an author and you're a fiction writer and that's what you do and you use puns and you use cleverness in your writing, then your audience will get that. Most of the people that I'm talking to that are listening to my voice are not that. Right? We are entrepreneurs providing either a service or a product. We need to be very, very clear as to what that is. All right? So that's number 3, website clarity. Okay? Number 4. We're going through these really quick. Yahoo. All right, number 4. All right, this is one of the best tools I've ever used in marketing. And I love it. And there's one particular person that uses it so amazingly well. And that is Lead Pages. Lead Pages is incredible. When I talked about in the beginning of this episode, the text that you could do with the opt-in link for the text to get the cheat sheet, that's on Lead Pages. That's done. It's on Lead Pages. I can just direct you. I can either do a lead box that pops up on my website at a particular time frame. I could send you to a specific landing page with all kinds of information, or just one beautiful message, beautiful image with a very short message. I can basically make my branding and my marketing anything I want it to be to capture leads and capture possible customers and guests and people who are interested in the same things I am. All right. Now with Lead Pages, one of my favorite people who uses Lead Pages so amazingly well, or at least lead capture information very, very well, is Amy Porterfield. You know, if you go to Amy's site, amyporterfield.com, and you listen to one of her episodes, one of her podcast episodes, she has a great marketing podcast. You listen to one of those episodes, and at the end of it, not only in the audio, but on the actual show notes page, she will have a very specific lead magnet or a freebie, whatever you want to call these things. It's a lead magnet, really. Let's get real. She's trying to give you something in exchange for your email address. So she has a very specific opt-in or lead magnet for each episode or each blog post. And she does it so incredibly well. Go check it out. She is the queen of actionable content. So when you go to her site, you listen to one of her podcast episodes, she's going to blow your mind with the amount of actionable information she gives you that you can take and put into your business right now to make a difference in your business. She's great. But with that, she asks for your email address to give you the quick little whatever it is that she's giving you, instead of just the words. We all know how that is. We're driving, we're listening to a podcast, and she's blowing our minds with incredible information that we can use. Well, we have to go back and listen to the episode and sit and take notes if that's what we want to do. Or, very coincidentally and wonderfully, we can just opt into her email list and get it right there. She's done all the work for us. She's incredible at that. If you don't have a lead capture on your website or wherever it is you're doing business, even on Facebook now, you can connect your Facebook fan page to an opt-in. whatever that might be. Sign up for something, a video sequence, anything. You can use that as an opt-in, a lead magnet. You can do it anywhere online now. So if you're not using a lead capture of some kind, you are back in the 20th century because this is, I actually have something new that I'm just going to start using that is going the next step after email marketing, and it's getting into opt-in rates, if you can believe it, of 80 to 90% open rates. Okay, so if you know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about lead pages, you go in and you say, okay, how many people viewed my page and how many people did what I asked them to do on that page? Well, the percentages typically are 10 to 20%. So someone visits the page and 10 to 20% of them do what I ask them to do. Basically, give me the email address. Then you go into your email provider, and guess what? Number 5 is that your email marketing provider. And you go in there, and when you get people into your email sequence, you look at the standard in marketing circles and in marketing rates for even wonderfully successful companies is really no more than 20 or 30%. Now, if you're very focused, my open rates of my emails are anywhere from 50 to 70%. But this new thing that I'm doing now, and I'll save it. I'm sorry to tease you, but I cannot divulge it until I have it nailed down. But this new system that I'm using, this new thing that I'm using is getting 80 to 90% open rates. And that's what you're looking for. People are interested in what you have to say. People are interested in what you're educating them on. And if you're just trying to sell and you're just trying to spam them, you're in the wrong business anyway. Please don't listen to this anymore because that's not what we're doing. We're educating and inspiring people. And when you do that, can you imagine if you have your email sequence and if you have your lead capture and you get 80 to 90% of the people who opt into your list actually opening and engaging with what you have to say, you know you have hit exactly what they need. And that's what this is all about, my friends. That's exactly what this is about. So I digress. Number 3 was website clarity. Number 4 is lead capture. And I specifically use lead pages. And specifically in lead pages, what I mentioned is use an opt-in for each blog post or podcast episode or whatever it is you're doing. Offer them something. Don't just write something. Write a blog post, spend your time and energy, and then not have any way that people can get more information or get deeper into that subject. You must get them deeper into that subject, and that's how you get them on your email list through lead capture. And Amy Porterfield does that incredibly well. All right, and number 5, I already mentioned to you, is your email marketing. What email system are you using? I'm using MailChimp. It's not like I have a million subscribers. So MailChimp is working very well for me. And I can do autoresponders for the different opt-in sequences, opt-in magnets, lead magnets that I've created. And there are 2 people, let me tell you this. I subscribe to many lists. I subscribe to many people's lists. And usually within a month, I unsubscribe pretty quickly, because it's really not for me. I got whatever lead magnet, I found whether it was helpful or not, and then decided, no, their email sequence, where they're leading me, the information they're giving me after I got that freebie is not where I want to go. That's the worst thing ever. You are losing so many people if you are not leading them exactly where they want to go based on what they opted in to get. Okay, so 2 people who are doing that exceptionally well are Pat Flynn and John Lee Dumas. Get on their lists. They have many different types of lists. Pat Flynn has a list for his weekly update of all of his content that he's produced that week. So you can just basically get on his list to get his content, his weekly content from Ask Pat, SPI, and his blog, all delivered in one beautiful email once a week. That's wonderful. But then you go the next step, and let's say you are part of the Will It Fly community. Okay, so let's say you've bought Will It Fly and you've gotten into his courses, his Will It Fly course, free course. Well, then he will give you information specifically in relation to that. John Lee Dumas does this so incredibly well. If you opt in to anything on his site, it is a very specific mail funnel, email funnel, and it is targeted. So let's say I opt in to find out to his free podcast training. Okay, so he has a free start your own podcast email list. And of course, I start that list and it tells me step by step how to start a podcast. He goes through everything. Okay, I think it's 11 or 13 emails or whatever. I don't remember exactly because it was a while ago that I opted into that. As you can see, as a marketer, I test a lot of this stuff. I go and see what people are doing. And I'm telling you, the very best. These are the people who are doing it incredibly well, and you might not be using it this way. So listen up. So John Lee Dumas, if I go in for the podcast, he'll give me everything I asked for. He'll give me the freebie, and I think he actually gave away a electronic copy of his podcasting book that he published on Amazon. So you get that, and then you get everything you need to start your own podcast. Then at the end of that sequence, what do you think he does? He doesn't offer me to go on the podcast cruise, Podcaster's Paradise cruise. No, he offers for me to join Podcaster's Paradise, his flagship product that's specifically about podcasting. He's not going to have me opt into some mastermind group to help me grow my business in general. No, he's going to stay in line with the podcasting. If I opt in to Webinars on Fire, another product that he has, how to do webinars, he's not going to, at the end of that, he's going to give me and deliver each of the episodes, each of the emails telling me exactly how to create webinars on fire, webinars that convert, all those things. And at the end of it, he's not going to all of a sudden invite me to a Podcaster's Paradise. He's going to invite me to join and buy his webinar course. Do you see what I'm saying? Be very specific with your audience. If they opt into something, same with Amy Porterfield that I mentioned in number 4 with the lead capture. If I opt into something with Amy Porterfield, she's going to have me on a list that is an automated sequence that's getting me specifically to a desired result. And that desired result relates exactly to the thing that I opted in for. It's not different. So let's go back to Boss Moms, okay? Dana Malstaff, Boss Mom. She has a free course on Trello, on how to use Trello. And she gives you an email sequence telling you exactly how to use Trello for your business. Well, at the end of it, what do you think she does? She offers for me to buy her boards. Okay. If you're familiar with Trello, this will make sense. If you're not familiar with Trello, it doesn't matter. It's something in relation to Trello that she has created that then it's templates. It's templates for Trello. That's her boards. I can buy them from her during that sequence because it's obviously something I was interested in and I opted in for. Okay. So if you're not using your email marketing to specifically lead people along a path that they asked for, and then at the end or somewhere in the middle, you're either asking them questions to segment them in the list. They're either yes, interested in this, or they're not. And then if they're not, you take them a different direction. If yes, then you keep them going in this path. But if you don't do that, you are missing out. You are not using this tool as effectively as you could be. And these are the specific examples, Pat Flynn and John Lee Dumas, that I mentioned. Okay? All right. That is number 5. Number 6. All right. This one you use every single day in every single way. I know you do, but you might not be using it as effectively as Chalene Johnson. Now, Chalene Johnson is the queen of multi-passionate entrepreneurship. She has several different businesses. She has several different products, all under her umbrella of herself. It's her personal brand, Chalene Johnson. And I'll have the link for you. But number six tool of the 7 tools that you're probably not using as effectively as you could be is social media. Okay? I don't know how you're using social media, but these are the 3 things you absolutely need to do in social media in order to actually have them help you in your business. Number 1, you need to have clarity. You need to be very clear on your message. Do you know how many posts on Instagram or Facebook that I see it's an image, but it's a ton of text? I'm not reading it. I'm not going to go and get down in some rabbit hole of a story on an image in a Facebook post. If it's written text and I'm interested in the person or they catch me right in the beginning, I might read the whole thing. And if it's video, most of the time I'm gonna watch the video. But if it's an image with a huge amount of text in it, that's not clear. That's not, why am I supposed to read this? What am I going to get out of it? Okay, number one is clarity. If you look at Chalene Johnson, especially on Instagram, you will see very clearly what she does. And you'll see clearly her image and her brand on Instagram. The second thing on social media to use it, you need to be consistent. Now, I have to be honest with you. I have to totally come clean. Consistency is my most difficult thing. It just is. It's hard for me to be in any kind of routine. And I've made a huge amount of progress in that and have been able to be more consistent. Obviously, the number one thing that has helped me with that is this podcast. I've published this podcast every single week. And you want to talk about consistency? That takes a lot of effort. So the same thing in social media. You need to be consistent. Whatever time frame. If you're going to post once a day on Facebook, post once a day on Facebook. If you're going to post 5 times on Twitter a day, then do that. If you're going to post on Instagram once a day, once a week, whatever, but be consistent so your audience can know that they can rely on you. It's a really easy way to know whether or not we can rely on you in other things. And that's our first easy entry to your world is social media. We're voyeuristic in it, right? We just watch. We don't have to do anything, but it's a test. And as we see your content, if we see that you're consistent, then we pretty much know that we can rely on you to be consistent with whatever we might buy from you. So clarity, consistency, and connection is the third thing. You must connect. You can't just post memes or inspirational, beautiful pictures with inspirational quotes on them. You can't just post that. You need to engage and connect with people. So if you post, so one of my favorite quotes comes from Albus Dumbledore, okay, on Harry Potter. And basically, to sum it up, I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but to sum it up, it's our choices that make us who we truly are, not our talents. It's actually what we choose to do. And so I could post a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful picture with that quote on it, and actually have the quote, not my my interpretation of the quote, not my paraphrasing. And I could post that on social media, and that's wonderful. But it's even better if I connect with people and ask them, what was the latest choice you made that moved your business forward? Please share. That's going to get people engaging with what I have posted, not just reading that quote, going, oh, that's a great quote, and moving on to the next thing. So social media, the way you might not be using it as effectively as you could, and especially as effectively as Chalene Johnson's using it, clarity, consistency, and connection. Ask your followers a question and get them to engage with you. Don't just try and sell them something. Don't say, oh, yes, here's the choice you can make for your business. Buy my thing. No, ask them to share. All right, that's number 6. Finally, number 7. And once you've gone through all of the first 6, once you've got your time management down, you know your entrepreneurial identity, you've been very, very clear on your website so that people know exactly whether you are what they need within the first 3 seconds or not, you have your lead capture totally dialed in, and you know your market, you now have them into an email sequence, an automated email sequence that leads them to exactly what they opted in for. And you're using social media to engage with clear, consistent connection with your potential audience. Once you've done all those things, then it makes sense to create products that fit your niche. Okay, so let's try and turn this around. If you started with the product, but you didn't do any of those other 6 things, how in the world are you going to make any money? Because you don't have any of those other connections. You don't have any of those other things in your tool belt, so to speak. So the 7th thing is products that then fit the niche you've created. and the connections with your customers that you've created with all those other 6 things. Okay? And there are some people that I know you know that do this very, very well. And I'll tell you a couple of them. Number 1 is Michael Hyatt. Okay? If you have not heard of Michael Hyatt, I don't know what rock you've been under in the online world, but he is out there and he is amazing. 2 of his products that I just love. One is Platform University, and he has a book, his platform, your platform, Platform University, and 5 days to your best year ever. Those are great products, okay? And they're very, very clear who they're for once you get there, all right? So a second person that does this so well, I love her dearly. She's amazing, Marie Forleo. And her product, one of her products specifically, is B School. Now that's going to be opening up soon. So if you need clarity on your business, and again, no, I'm not an affiliate, go check out B School, short for business school, basically. B School, an amazing product, and it's very, very focused on her niche. She's done all those other 6 things very, very well and very effectively. And her product that shows that she makes incredible amounts of money from is B School. Number 3 is a person you've heard on this podcast twice before, a dear friend of mine, an amazing, amazing man who's doing incredible things, Joel Lewis. And his product is Webinar Productions. And we had our episode just a couple of episodes ago, and I'll have the link again in the show notes. And he talks exactly about our journeys together and how we've gone through this and come to this conclusion of providing this particular service for people. And his particular product is Webinar Productions. And he actually does and handles everything in the webinar for you. All you have to do is create the slides that you want to share in the webinar and show up, and he does everything else. And he's changing lives with that. He's helping people grow their businesses exponentially with that service. All right, so there's number 3, and he's done all the other things before that too. And then number 4 is Joey Kornman. I just love this guy. He's such a sweetheart. He's just so incredible. He isn't an accidental entrepreneur, but he kind of sometimes acts like it. And he's also been on this podcast twice, Joey Kornman. And Joel and Joey, I'm in a mastermind group with them, and I'm just so incredibly lucky to share the minds of these incredible guys. But Joey's business is School of Motion, and he has courses for motion design. And that everything he's done over the last 3 years has been those previous 6 things I've already outlined. Everything has been getting all that stuff dialed. And then he has an incredible audience. And now School of Motion is just, he went from 50,000 one year to 500,000 the second year to 1.2 million the third year. I'm telling you, 2017 is going to, I don't know. I'm not going to make any predictions. I'm not going to jinx anything for him, but he's definitely doing incredible things. All right. So then you can actually create products that fit your niche. Okay. So let me go through all of these 7 things, and the lead capture and the email funnel and social media, all of them funnel into the product that your audience needs. If you put an opt-in, if you did put in a lead magnet on your website and nobody opts into it, and you've got this whole email sequence already built, and you've got a product already done at the end of it that you've spent time doing, well, I'm sorry, but you're going to feel very bad. You're going to feel like a failure. And I know that because I've done that. Right here, raising my hand, I have done that. And it doesn't feel good. You think you know what everybody wants, and then nobody opts in, and you've got this whole thing, this 6 months possibly that you spent building this stuff, and nobody opts in for it. So the products that fit your niche, number 7, they need to have been developed based on your entrepreneurial identity, your website clarity, your lead capture, your email funnel, and your social media engagement. If you do all of those things, then your audience tells you what product you need. You don't have to think about it. One of my recent clients, she kept saying, well, I think I'm going to need to create this. I think they need this. And every time I would stop her and say, that's wonderful. That's exciting. That's wonderful. I know that's something you love and you really want to create. But it doesn't matter what you think. It matters what they will buy and what they will pay for and what they need to change their lives. And I'm sorry, but that's how blunt I am. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to sugarcoat it and say, well, man, maybe you could do that. That would be a good idea. Let's see how that works. No, I know that's going to be a waste of time and a waste of energy and a waste of spending money on me being her mentor. Okay? I'm not going to do that. We are going to say, that's great. I'm glad you think that your clients or your audience needs that, but it doesn't matter what you think. You need to ask them first before you start creating it. And once she asked them, she found out, oh no, they don't want that. They want this instead. And then she could create that. I'm telling you, people, it works this way. But if you don't have those other things nailed down, your entrepreneurial identity, your website clarity, your lead capture, your email funnel, and your social media engagement, you can't do the seventh thing, which is create effective products that fit your niche. All right? So that's how the people, the incredibly successful entrepreneurs that I have interviewed on this show have shown me the 7 tools that they are using to create incredible success, and the ones that you might not be using as effectively as you could be. All right? I hope that helped. Again, go text PEP160 to 44222, and you can get this exact cheat sheet with all the links to everything I've talked about. And then you will also be on the list for notification of when that Parent Entrepreneur Power book is done. And you won't have to do anything. You don't have to buy it. You're not promising anything. But I will be, once I'm about a month or a month and a half out from publishing that book, I will be looking for a launch team, okay? A few dedicated people that will get a free copy of the book and also the audiobook and also a compilation of all of the related audio that goes into the book from all of the people that I have interviewed in the past that are going to contribute to the book. So I will be looking for a launch team when I'm about a month and a half before publishing, and that'll probably be this spring. I'm anticipating by April, and I'm going to start with the people who opted into this cheat sheet. I'm going to start with them first and see if they're interested, give them first crack at being in the launch team. And I will also name those people in the book as people who've helped make it possible. So if you're interested in that, you can opt into this particular 7 tools cheat sheet, and you will be automatically in that list. In the meantime, I hope that this brought you value. I hope that you can actually use these tools a little differently than you have in the past to really create some amazing results, and look at it in those 7 steps. And if there's 1 or 2 of the steps that you might be missing, those might be clues of things that you can immediately change to grow your business incredibly well. All right? Here's to amazing success, Power Parents. I know you can do it. I know you can. And here's to a thank you, a huge thank you for being part of this audience and for listening and being a loyal listener. I appreciate it more than you can ever know, more than I can ever express. I am so grateful for every single person who listens to my voice. All right, enjoy the journey. To get powered up for your day, just go to parenttrepreneurpower.com and listen to any one of the over 100 episodes we've had so far with amazing entrepreneurs just like you. It might just help you feel like a grown-up again.